Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Tarot for Our Times. This is a reading and a video I was hoping not to make because this whole thing that happened with scotus defying the Supreme Court and what it means for democracy is very frightening to me, and I have been starting to watch some things from Midas Touch and then turning it off saying, yes, I know this already, and seeing posts on Facebook from some very frightened people. And this is all about Kilmar Abrega García, innocent man from Maryland being held in a Salvadorian concentration camp, and scotus not wanting to do a thing about it in order to make his dictator pal happy. Now, the two, you know what, it's interesting because I thought, what on earth focus tarot card could I use for this? So I picked up the bottom of the deck, of one of the decks, and here I found Judgment. I think the one thing that could happen for this is even more people are going to be getting together in protest. I mean, there's photos of him, bring him home, all over Facebook. I wouldn't be surprised if right now that the basic progressive organizations are planning protests for the weekend. I haven't seen anything, but I've been busy working on this and other things, and I haven't had a chance to really check the events. But I mean, it's only Tuesday, but I'm thinking there's going to be some stuff, and again, it will be worldwide. That's a big hit that I got from this. And the second card, I thought, well, it seemed to need another card. Focus cards, and immediately Justice in Reverse. Justice in Reverse is a big, like, is he ever going to see justice? Is he ever going to see justice? And the answer that Justice Reverse gives is it's going to be on the universe's time and not on your time, which is incredibly frustrating. But I've also gotten a new meaning for this card in that the big message is on a global level is it never ends well for dictators. It just never does. And they may be there for a while, but they may not be, because as fast as things have moved with this regime, things can move very fast with it ending. And I've been seeing the comparisons to 1930s Europe, and I find that it's scary. There's some similarities, and some from children of people that survived the Holocaust, and they remember what their parents and grandparents said about, wow, all the signs are there. But I have to keep going back to Tim when he's saying that the light will shine through the dark. And I think it's something we have to hope. And I'm the kind of person that can very easily get into despair, but that doesn't do any good, and they win when we do that. So I want to take a look at about, I can put these back, about the, first of all, the reaction from this, which is very swift. Then what could be happening as a result of this, and then another one is this the nail in the coffin for the presidency? I was going to say for democracy, but I think that sends a really negative message to the universe. And though while we need to be aware of it, we cannot live in that energy. And we have to learn from the history that we weren't alive, but our parents, you know, in many cases, our parents, and for the young pups, the grandparents and great-grandparents were alive, and they did. We've all heard the stories from the witnesses of that era. So I think instead of living in that fear, well, a good dose of heavy fear is to get people off their behinds, but to also say, well, we know about this, so we have the knowledge of history. We can't let this happen. So, at any rate, I'm going to do the readings. I hopefully will, in the next couple of days, I will have my new laptop, and that means that I can show you the spreads. I can't right now, so I do appreciate your bearing with me. So let's see. So I'll use this deck. So the first one is, what could be happening right now? I notice that there is a senator, I think from Maryland probably, who is planning on going down there to talk to him. And I don't believe that a president is helpless in this matter. All he needs to do is say, if you don't release him and the hairdresser and a couple of other people that got mixed in the shuffle, you know, you're just not going to get any more aid. And trust me, that country is in shambles. They are in absolute shambles, and they need our aid. So all you have to do is threaten to cut off the purse strings, and believe me, he and some other people would be on the next plane out of there. Money talks and bullshit walks. Okay, so so for the base card, we have, the King of Swords in reverse, which is saying, we know he's lying. He's lied like a rug on so many things. So we know he's lying, and he's not doing a very good job of it. So we're going to see the energy of this as I quickly, I think I have been shuffling these. Don't want to give the same reading as I did for my last night release. And this one, I think I'm going to release this sometimes later this evening, because this is very timely. So energy of this is, the sun in reverse, trying to keep us in the dark, that we know the truth. And this is also, you know, with these two little babies fighting, I get the meaning is, well, they would like to have us fighting to divide and conquer, but instead the titty babies are fighting. It's the muskrats, it's the Fotuses, it's that idiot Vice President Vance. So this is, and everybody knows it. This is the thing. Everybody knows it. And the sun is still the sun. They may be trying to hide the truth, but we see it. We see it. So, underlying all of this is, okay, we have the Page of Wands. Okay, I would say that behind the scenes, this really does go with the sun reverse. Behind the scenes, people are acting like children, bad children throwing a temper tantrum. And I think that what this is saying is that the direction this reading is going is that all the toxicity behind it that we know and we see. You have to be the biggest Kool-Aid chug-a-lugger to not see this. It also may be telling me, as this becomes quite apparent, that there may be some more peeling off of this. And we have the moon in reverse. Oh my God. This is just like the deepest, darkest secrets, and that person on their journey is not going anywhere. They're just stuck in their deep darks, and this is so sick that we know it. We know it. Okay, so then we have still underlying complete identity crisis. Now, this is an identity crisis and the big cry baby titty baby card. So this is these toddlers not knowing their identity. The thing, the kind of catchy thing with Trump is that he wants the world to love him. And so sometimes when he sees that it doesn't, that's when he's backed down from things. So I'm not going to put it in the bank that he could change his mind. But we'll see if how much that wounded little boy of his that never grew up comes up around that. So I think that these are things that people are very aware of. But I would say that those that aren't aware with it, it's like it's right up in their face now. And that this is really not the best recipe for democracy. So in opposition of that, we have, oh boy, the corrupt family that cannot lie and that they cannot hide it anymore, because that dictator that visited him, I'm sure they did a one hand washes the other. There is money. That's what I've been saying throughout every one of these things, whether he's in office or out of office. It's follow the money. The money thing is the big, I think, could be the big Achilles heels, because it isn't just me. All of these other readers on the internet have been having pentacles. A lot of them don't read reverse, but they do see the negative up. But they've been getting pentacles upright, reverse, sideways, inside out, whatever. And that's been a big, big theme of this. Okay, so conscious thoughts. Okay, so if we just institute a reign of terror, people are going to bend to our will. I would say that this card also means, no, they're not, but they're consciously thinking, oh, we just bully and we go and do this stuff, changing by minute. That's the way to bring them all to their knees. Okay, it doesn't quite work out that way. Subconscious, we have, oh, it's kind of a worry that all these things to end democracy isn't going to quite hit the mark. The ball is definitely in the Supreme Court's court, and they must be ruining the day where they gave him almost carte blanche. I think the deal breaker being is that it wasn't absolute, but I think when it comes to the Constitution, that may be the thing where he can do anything the hell that he wants. So there may be some, Eight of Wands. Okay. So there may be some, there may be, the inner thing is like, we're throwing all this crap up against the wall. It isn't quite hitting the way that we want to. So, and I think people know that. I do think people know that. So let's see. In the past, we have, Five of Pentacles out in the cold. I think that's the whole thing of people really getting screwed over by this administration, and they're starting to look back and see that since the day he took the oath of office and before that, they're really being. This is kind of like the videos that I saw another one of these videos today where. For the most part, the MAGAs were having real buyer's remorse because their businesses were failing due to tariffs. There was one stupid idiot farmer who said, oh, well, I'm sure that in the big picture things are going to be okay. He'll probably lose his farm before that happens. But for the most part, people are really regretting that and realize they've been left in the cold. I think this may flow over to that they could be swept up, or that their worker, well, they can't get anybody to work on these farms and small businesses, but that even more than maybe the ones that have been here for a few generations now, they're worrying about if they scoop those up, that's the end of their cheap workforce. So it's kind of interesting how that works out. Okay, so in the present, we have, right now, I think that we feel it, and the rest of the free world. I'm not going to just say the insane people in the United States, but other people in the world are saying, okay, this looks like we're really up against a lot. All of this stuff like tariffs and, using the Constitution as the toilet paper when it comes to the judicial branch and all of that sort of thing. But I always look at that guy pointing, having that he's ready to turn that rod parallel, perpendicular to ward back all of these. So even though there's a lot coming, the thing is that I think people are now thinking of like, how can we fight smart? It's very important to fight smart. And that was the original meaning I got from this card when I first learned the tarot. And I think that this is very true. So in the not too distant, in the immediate future, the reaction will be the King of Cups. I would say that the leaders need to get into that. I often look at this as Obama, too, very calm and cool, and underneath, see that choppy water, there's a lot, those still waters run deep. So I think a lot of people are saying, okay, we're going to keep our heads about us. If we react violently, it's martial law. So this is the very smart king, keeping the emotions in check and really making some plans, and that's going to be like the stinger that they don't know what, it's like that Scorpio stinger of Biden, that they will not know what hit. That would be, I think there's a lot of people, congressional leaders and even governors and people like that thinking, we got to keep, although the waters are choppy, we've got to keep a cool head because it's much more effective that way. So then we have, in the more distant future, it's like what's worked in the past is not going to work this time. It isn't. And I think what this means is that seeing this with next to the King of Cups, what I see in these cards is that, because I'm with the thing is like, we've got to get a little bit dirty and not cross the line into being them. But I would say, be kind of sneaky. Come on, be sort of sneaky and just drain their bank account or do whatever you have to do, but play it smart, because this nice kumbaya BS is not working anymore. But the King of Cups is upright, is saying, well, we can put on the pretense that we're like the old days, but we could get real sneaky and do something that they never saw coming. I'm hoping this is true, that this is the reaction, because they see all of this stuff and say, hello, this is not working anymore. So I feel like the other deck. Okay, in the hopes and fears, we have, the Page of Swords in reverse. This is the beginning of a new strategy that's not like the old strategy. I think what this is saying is that there are some plans under wraps, but since this is in reverse, they're just going to keep it close to the chest. But this is a new beginning of a new strategy. I think this is the reaction, because as serious as this is, it has to be like, we need to play smart. We need to play very, very smart, because this is a very crucial part of our history. So in the result of all of this, or in conclusion, aha, oh, thank God, okay. This is the star. This is the star. This is both using, gathering information that she has got her knee on the solid ground. That's coupled with couple of things here. The water represents the intuitive thing that I'm feeling, as though that intuition is going to play, and the gut feelings will play a part of this. But the thing is, she alchemizes both of these elements of the earth and the more ethereal and emotional into one thing. This also represents the United States of America. This has been, with a lot of us, it's been the United States of America. So the thing is to keep cool, use both of these things, and some magic could really come out of this. So I would say from this whole reading is that it looks like not all, but many of the leaders are realizing that that old stuff just, it just doesn't work anymore. That old, oh, can't we all get along, blah, blah, blah. That isn't working. This is our democracy. That this is a very crucial part in our history. But the thing is to not go off the emotional deep end about it. It's like, you know what? We will play a little dirty, but we will play legally. And we will play non-violently. So I just got this hit. I will bet that a number of the smarter people, our smarter angels in government, are brushing up on their Gandhi today. Their Gandhi and their Martin Luther King. And a whole bunch of other people that are smart, have been smarter than they are, okay? So I think it's the thing of getting very calculating. Don't show the hand. Pretend like, oh, can't we all just get along, and then zing them one. It's kind of like some of these videos I confess to watching where the husband is cheating on the wife, and he thinks he's draining her accounts, but she's seen it coming, so she finds out all the Cayman Island stuff and does her own work behind the back, and reports fraud to the bank. And while he's off going to take his mistress to the tropical thing, she's closed all the accounts, and like, surprise. So I really feel, as I didn't think those videos would come in handy, but now I know why I'm watching them, because that's the smart thing to do. The smart thing to do is let them think that they're winning, and then just behind their back, drain them. And I think it can be done. I actually think Biden kind of set the foundation for that when he left. So, I don't know exactly what the outcome is going to be, but the energy right now is saying that the cooler heads may prevail, but not the old school, not the old Pelosi, Schumer. It's AOC wearing a velvet, AOC and Bernie Sanders wearing a velvet glove, and then surprise. Okay, so the next one is, which I'm going to do, is a slightly, oh, this is interesting that this popped out. We have here the Hermit. It's like I think what this is saying is, this is what's happening now, because it's flipped over for no reason. What this is saying is that they pretty much have the snake in the right place, but they've got to be real careful that it doesn't bite. But I think the snake looks a little bit clueless there. And so, he's not at least holding it by the tail. So, but they have to be careful that it doesn't strike and poison them. So that is the basis of what could be happening right now. And then the energy be around that would be the Two of Cups in reverse. This is what I've been saying along. There are people in this movement, they are simply not getting along, even in MAGA world. I mean, look at the two bimbos in the house. You know, the blonde and the brunette. They were real tight BFFs. They're at each other's throat, and they do symbolize this. So there is that element, and part of having that serpent in the right place is to take advantage of that we really need to exploit that big time. So in opposition of that, we have the Page of Wands. It's kind of like what's happening now is I know that they don't have much time to, they really need to act soon, but they're contemplating just a teeny bit before they light the match, which is telling me that they really, really saw this, that they saw this coming. I don't think, we shouldn't be surprised. It's just like now that it's happened, it's like, oh my God, it's like that. So, let's see. So in the past, what happened in the past is that there's two meanings to this. In the opposition, it's it's the infighting. When it's upright, I see this as a brief skirmish. In reverse, I think I will see this. I see this as it continues. It just continues. I would say with the opposition, it's been kind of like more of inner conflicts of what do we do next, and the old ways aren't working, and it's kind of like trying to get people to see that. But that's mostly about the soul searching, about what we've done hasn't worked as well in the past. So then in the present, we have walking away. I think a lot of this old stuff from the Democrats has been kind of been stuck emotionally as, well, we've done this for over 200 years. So no, I think they're saying, no, we've got to walk away from this and regroup. And we cannot get emotional over this. We've got to get away from the drama, which is walking away from the cups. And this is all full. We're still in the shadow of the full moon. This is all full moon stuff, but trying to keep the heads on straight. So, in the not too distant future, we have, the Devil in this very interesting deck. I mean, I would say that as the MAGA people make love with each other, they haven't realized how the stronger the chains have been to the devil, which is always comes up when it's about photos, but also seeing that there may be, when it's something this serious, I would say, I'm not saying everybody, I'm seeing a few of them peeling off and getting away from that. Not a whole lot, maybe the ones where he doesn't have as really damaging stuff on them. And so that what's going to happen in the more distant future. Okay, here we have this guy again, and I did shuffle these up. That there's going to be a lot of, again, the identity crisis and the titty babies. I think that when the Democrats go into action to try to combat this, whether it's successful or not for right now, because the energy in this is changing. Who knows what I'm going to see when I end this? Like, who knows what, I mean, maybe he changed his mind. Who knows? But it's like the identification, that it's also about the Democrats redefining themselves because they are going through an identity crisis. The old-time Republicans are going through an identity crisis, and the titty baby's got a titty baby. Okay, so there's a whole lot of stuff going on with that Page of Cups in reverse. So let's see some hopes and some fears. I want to go with before I pick it up, I want to go with the Dems, because what could be happening right now is the Knight of Pentacles. So I would say that with the old guards of the Dems, that they're little bargaining and playing ball with the Republicans like they did in the olden days. I don't know, this is a very Senate kind of vibration, is that not so much loyalty with the deal making that they're doing. So their hopes is that is going to work, but their fear is the fear of changing and of the unknown. So that is pretty much what's going on with them right now. So I want to see a result of this. Oh, the Wheel of Fortune. I think Wheel of Fortune is saying karma is at work here. Karma is really, really at work. I think what this tells me, if they're bold enough, sneaky enough, and bold enough, that definitely that they could be putting the brakes on the dismantling of democracy. I think it's also saying that the Supreme Court must be doing some, this also applies to the Supreme Court, doing some soul searching. I should maybe do, this has been so much on Congress. I'm just going to pull a couple on the Supreme Court, because they created this monster. I think a lot of them have felt that if with such a unanimous ruling for Mr. Garcia, that they figured that if he ever wants them to rule in any way favorably to him, and I would say in cases where their rulings may have nothing to do with what he can do, but to end something where he has no power to do it, that they figured that could be the stop. And I think maybe that was what was in mind. But apparently, he is just going off the rails, and this is part of his, I think part of his mental failings, shall we call them, but that's another reading that everybody and their mother is doing, but we'll see. So I'm going to just do a quick draw on the Supreme. Okay, what could be happening with the Supreme Court? Because what they could do is that they could hold the administration in contempt of court by defying their order, and while they think they can't touch him, attorneys will be arrested. I think that would be the power that they have. So let's see that we have. Just a little 4-card deal here. Okay, so what's happening now with them is strength. Interesting. For some reason, they feel as though they're in some position of strength, which maybe that means ordering contempt citations. Who knows what's happening in the next 2 minutes? The underwriting energy is okay. This is such an interesting 8 of Swords, because usually this figure is alone, but this other person seems to be, I think I'm finally understanding this. This woman is looking for someone to rescue her. Oh, to set her free, where she's got the power herself, but she's looking to the guy to do it. So I think she looks like they're kind of engaging. Well, you know, if you let me free, I'll do this for you and that for you. Some reason I think there's some bargaining or talking with the Supreme Court, with the administration. Who knows? Let's see. In the past, we have we've got the world, which is this could be the finish of this. I think what he was looking to do is a finish of the cycle where that judicial would have any power. Now that could be just something, and I think that's an illusion in his mind, is that them having any sway over him is done. Oh, here we have the Wheel of Fortune. Karma's going to come. Karma's going to come. There may be something that he is counting on for them to rule on, and he's of the mindset that that the world owes him a big fat living, and just because somebody does someone for him, that doesn't mean that he doesn't throw them under the bus. He's not real big on, he'll reciprocate for a while, but in the big picture, no. So, okay. So we're going to see, I'm going to shuffle these really well. Is this another nail in the coffin of the presidency? And as I say, I really want to look at it in that way. Really, really want to look at it in that way. Because I don't want to see, because the universe will hear the end of democracy. I just don't want to go there. I think, in one comment I made on someone who's very, very frightened because of her family history, and I understand it. I was, trying to do a little walk back from the edge of the cliff, and basically what I said is that, we can do this, that, and the other thing, but also using the law of attraction and manifesting along with that. Just do whatever you can. So, I'm going to see if this is another nail in the coffin of the presidency. Okay. In the coffin of the presidency. Okay, so. Alrighty. Okay, this will be kind of like the middle. Okay, so where we are at now. Okay. The Queen of Swords. This is kind of interesting. This represents all of the female DAs, judges, prosecutors that he's really afraid of, that they're really ready to, they're not afraid of him. They are really ready to wield those swords and not take any prisoners. I don't think they're done with him. Don't know how that's going to happen, but they're not done with him. So let's see, the energy around that is, okay, with them. And this is a female energy. I'm also going to say this extends out to the female energy, not necessarily the white Christian women. They're, I'm hoping they wake up, but to the women that match, sorry. That a lot of this is like, there's the guy shooting the arrow, and he's going to hit the bullseye because this is upright. Yep, there's a lot of female energy that is going to be maybe bringing him down. So, in opposition of that, we have, the Two of Wands. This goes back to, I believe that plan B is that, he could be booking. I think his trip to Saudi Arabia in the not too distant future, maybe it's not like he's going to stay there, but he's going to put some plan B into effect, because his main driving force is staying out of prison. So I would say that he feels trapped. And he's not quite ready to book, but he's setting things in motion just in case. So that tells me that when he does these things and he walks them back, it's not because he has a conscience, it's because he's like, whoa, I could lose this office in many ways, not just impeachment, but there are many, too many to go into now. So in the past, we have, God, this keeps coming out, and I just shuffled out of the hell out of this deck. Okay, we have the good old Five of Wands. So that is pretty much of the internal struggle within the party. I mean, they're fighting, but it's still like, in the long run, even if he were to dismantle democracy, I don't think it would last very long. I think that there would be an uprising that you wouldn't believe. I think that some of the people in that party are aware of it, but they're struggling as to how do we get rid of him. I think that they wanted to drag him over the finish line, but they got more than what they bargained for. So we got that in the past in reverse. So in the present, we have, temperance. And it's like the balancing act, trying to balance things. And also I would say that I think somebody's trying to keep that cabinet sober enough to do their jobs, that there's maybe some den mother or something like that that's trying to keep the cabinet in control with all the substance abusers, and that may be proved to be fake. So it's a real attempt to try to keep a balance, but it's really, really hard with them. It's just like they're barely teetering on it. So the not too distant future, we have, the Hermit. The Hermit, he may be kind of alone in all of this. I realize that there are the puppet masters behind the scenes pulling the strings, but that's a real job, but to make him think they're not pulling the strings, because he likes to be in control. So I'm seeing something of an isolation in his trying to see his way through the night. And that this also says that he may be alone in trying, but these other cards, he may be alone in trying to hang on to that. So then, in the more distant future, okay, the Sun in reverse, more lies, more trying to hide. This is he's a little toddler in reverse trying to hide the truth. But even when the sun's in reverse, the sun is a very powerful star, and even with the clouds covering it, we still have daylight. The only thing we do is when we have an eclipse, we have daylight. So a little bit of the sun peeks through. So this is saying he may be trying to hide the truth, but it does come out even if it just peeks through the cloud. So I want to do a hopes and a fear about him and the presidency. Okay. Oh, here we go. The torn between two lovers. It's kind of like he wants to, have it all. He wants to have them all support him, but this represents, and he's got a choice to make, because they have their swords. Oh, she doesn't have the swords. Interesting. I just noticed that. She's just sitting there. The guys have the sword, and they're fighting over her, or they're just fighting. And he can't see that they're fighting, feeling as though that really needs to make a choice, and yet they're fighting for their own interests. So that what this is telling me is that there are a couple of factions in this Project 25 and other factions of this cockamamie party that they are, in one sense, fighting over the favor of the king. But then the king is kind of irrelevant. They just want to fight over him and then just get rid of him. That's what I think. It's getting very Shakespearean, I know. But, that's pretty much what's going on there. But yet he's blind to see it. So the hope is like to get these factions together so he can really carry this out. But the other thing is that they're fighting. This is like the big Achilles foot. So the fear is that they'll splinter off, and just he won't win, just one of the other will. So there's the fear. That'll be the paranoia that comes into most dictator wannabes. So in conclusion, we have the Queen of Wands in reverse. So this is the, interesting. I would say this probably represents some of these white MAGA ladies that voted for him, perhaps peeling off. Perhaps he's losing them. They could become part of that other female energy. It's like she's the unfaithful queen in reverse. So it's saying that they're not going to be faithful to him. It's like the female counterpoint to the one that I had before, the Knight of Pentacles in reverse, that he's not loyal. He's just going to go with wherever the money is, kind of a thing, which may be happening. But this is kind of the inner life of the female energy breaking away. And I think it could be a lot of those women that voted for him. They're already starting to peel off the great disappointment that I had. So I just kind of want to close with what I'm pretty much saying, what I've said before, is the big thing is to not get into the energy of this is the end of democracy. It's saying we're at a dangerous point. We've got to do something, no matter how small, to fight this. The thing is that we need to keep our emotions in check, and instead of rioting in the streets, that is playing it smart and to empty whatever accounts that they have, basically, in whatever way. It's like, be smart and don't be going off emotionally. I think people are getting it's like, be aware and be vigilant, knowing what the threats are out there, but don't panic and don't give in to the fear, because then you're giving into them. So this is going to be very interesting. I just had this clairvoyant, I guess because Kennywood amusement park outside of Pittsburgh is about to open, if it hasn't already. So this is like the roller coaster, that big scary roller coaster. It's going to be going up to the heights and then down, a lot like the stock market. I would say this is just another hit I got. Take a look at the stock market as the metaphor for all this crazy stuff that's going on right now. That it's going up, then it'll go down. It's very unpredictable, but that's what you need to be ready for. And do keep in touch with your legislators, and make sure that whoever you're supporting in your very local races, which some of them will be coming up in May. We have a mayoral race in Pittsburgh. And do a little homework and make sure whatever party they're in, that there is, be very sure that there's no money going into their campaigns that even smells MAGA. So it's very local, and it's also very national too. So this, I don't know what's going to happen, but the thing is, we've just got to start to take some action instead of despairing. So on that cheery little note, I'm going to say goodbye for now. So bye-bye.